What's up guys, welcome to another video, and in this one we're going to continue from where we left off. In this one we're going to focus more on the JavaScript and Ajax point of view of how this works. And so what I've done here is I've created an index.html file inside the templates of our blog app, and I've loaded the static, and particularly we've got this button which is we've given an ID of button. And then the div here has an ID of our container. And then we've added the script which takes us to main.js, which is here inside the static in env folder. And if I go into main, there's nothing inside there for the moment. And that's where we're going to be working right now. So what we're going to do is basically just work with a JavaScript API, or show you how you can just add a few elements in JavaScript itself to grab JSON data. So to start off, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and Ajax stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. And so the first thing to note is this and XML. So no one actually really uses this anymore, but it was very important in early development of HTTP. And so the name just stuck as Ajax. We still all call it Ajax, even though no one really uses XML anymore. But so that's a little bit of history about Ajax itself. And so yeah, so let's get started on this. So firstly, I'm going to grab the elements here from the index.html, so these IDs. So I'm going to say variable button equals to document.get element by ID, and that's going to be the button. And I'm just going to copy all of this. And I'm going to say the variable container equals get our container. And what I'm going to do is add a button event listener. So I'm going to say button.add event listener, and this is on click. Then it's going to be a function, and inside the function we're going to create a request variable. So we're going to say our request equals a new XML HTTP request, and what we're going to do is say our request dot open, and it's a get request, and then we can pass in the URL that we want to actually get. So what I can also do is come up here and say variable URL equals to something, and then we can actually get that URL. So what we're going to do is get the JSON response URL, which is what's actually loading. Let's actually go and see it. Loading this title and description. So we want this to be the URL. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go into the main.js, paste that right there. So that's the URL that we are getting. And then what I'm going to do is say our request dot onload, and this is also a function. And here's where we'll specify what we actually want to do. So what I'm going to do is first just say console.log, and I'll say our request dot response text. So what that means is that the response that's coming back from our request is going to be treated as a text response. So it's just going to give it to us as text, not HTML, not JSON. So that's the first thing. So actually I'll put a comment here and just say this is not JSON formatted, so we can't work with that yet. And then we'll say our data is equal to JSON dot pass, and then we pass the request, and we pass the response text. So this is going to self-explanatory pass this text into JSON, and then we can do something with that. So I'm actually just going to say console.log our data, so we can see that. We'll just put those there. And now back inside our views, we've got this home view that we've created, which takes us to the index.html so that we can actually see this button and all that. So if we go back inside here and go to /home, I'm going to inspect the page, and if we go to the console and we click submit, then we don't see anything yet, so let's go and see why that is. So if we go back into Sublime Text, okay, so if we go back into JS, that's because we didn't say that our request should be sent. So we've got that there. Everything seems to be fine. So let's go back into Chrome and let's see. If we refresh this, we've still got the console open there. We click submit, and now we can see here that we've got a JSON object being returned, well, printed here in the console. You can see a title is actually, first let's go back and see what it is that we're printing. So the first console.log was the response.text. So if we go in here, you can see that this is a text. You can see they're different. This is different. This has got this arrow here. If you click it, you can see it's an object, right? So the second console.log is printing the JSON passed request. So now we've actually taken the JSON response view that is on this page, so this data, and if we go to home, we can actually get that data that's coming from that view, but there's no HTML that's being there's no HTML that we needed to render this yet on the page. So everything can be grabbed via the API. And so here you can see, if I click the drop down, it's got all these properties, title, some title, description, some description. So this is all working perfectly, and that's where I'm going to leave it for now. In the next video, we will continue on with this. Thanks for watching.